What's good? Appreciate all the likes already in the building, man. It's been a minute. We ain't talked Raiders. Let's talk Raiders. Max Crosby is home where he belongs. Or is it where he belongs? We'll get into that and more. The Raiders making some crazy, crazy signings on defense that I think is going to help this team. Where does our defense fit before the draft? We'll talk about where we think they're going to get in after the draft, but we're going to break all that down and more. Of course, Raiders Unleashed, baby. You already know I'm your host, Raiders Rebel, Jim Rogers, whatever you want to call it, right? But man, it's been a minute. We got a lot to talk about, right? Crosby deal fell through. Well, it's been since Monday since I've been back, since I've been on here. So it's been a minute. Yeah, Crosby deal fell through. Back at home, where he belongs. Has a change of mindset, a change of plans. Will that mindset help this defense to be a playoff caliber defense in year one, or do the Raiders still need help? We're gonna get into that. Shout out Faded Raider. Appreciate you in the building. Um, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a small minute, but we still here. We still kicking. Some of us got a life outside of YouTube. Not me, but I'm saying some of us do. Some of us do. Grim, what's good? What's good? What do you think about? I didn't see it. I haven't really been on social media. I've been you know, kind of away from the whole media thing. It's springtime. It's that kind of year. You know, bike rides, motorcycle revved up. But then it started raining, and then it got cold, and now it's freezing outside. So we thought it was springtime, but but for sure, man, I'll check it out. I'll look at it here in a minute. But yeah, we got some crazy signings. Where do the Raiders, where do we stand? Happy St. Patty's Day. What's good to you? Happy St. Patty's Day. Yes, I have green on, but you can't pinch me anyway, so it don't matter. I should go drink a green beer somewhere. I haven't had a green beer in a long time. But to those of you who are drinking a green beer, salute to you. Um, yeah, the Raiders, man. All kinds of signings, players that are going to help this team from the jump, players that are going to help this team in the future, players that are going to help this team. Wait, who they just signed? They just signed somebody else. So, the Las Vegas Raiders have signed unrestricted free agent guard Spencer Buford. So, a 49er, I do believe, is where Buford is from. Another signing as we sit here and speak. Hi, what's good? The Las Vegas Raiders re-signed restricted free agent Thomas Booker. Welcome back, Thomas Booker. And then the sleeper. I know Quay, y'all know how I feel about Quay Walker. That's my dude. The athleticism is going to be crazy next to Maxx Crosby. He's got that Raider attitude. A couple of penalties that you have to let slide when you're in the Raider Nation, right? We like that type of shit over here. So I like that dog in him. I like the physicality, the unsportsmanlike conduct. It is what it is, but he'll fit right in the silver and black, right? Right in the silver and black. So, but a guy, a lot of people aren't mentioning. Special teams guy. The Raiders need special teams so desperately. We need guys that can tackle, guys that can, put them in a short field when our kicker kicks the ball to the 5-yard line, and next thing you know, the guy's out to the 50, right? So guys that are going to stop that. Segun Alobi, former Colt, special teams guy, a guy that can play linebacker. I think is going to help this team, in a 3-4 right off the rip. I don't think it's just going to be special teams. I think he's a guy that can go out there. He can cover. He can hold his ground. He can stop the run. And then my biggest one, man. Connor flippin' Hayward. Yes, he does have a brother that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, they are both absolute monsters in the NFL. We have somebody to block for Ashton Genty. That means no more getting hit 3 yards in the backfield as soon as you touch the ball. That means a running back in Ashton Genty with his physicality, his abilities, his contact balance can actually survey the field, take a step or two before he has to make a cut, before he has to make a decision, right? This is going to be huge for the Raiders. And not only that, but we have one maybe the best center in all of football blocking for him in front of this man, Ashton Genty. You add that with Connor Hayward, and this offense automatically flips around. I'm not going to go into the how good we're going to be yet. Pump the brakes. I might have got a little crazy the last couple of years, but I'm getting that same damn feeling. Um, and then I don't know how you say this, but Derek Young, another special team specialist. The Raiders special teams have let us down year in, year out, every single game, right? Our kickers do good. Like I said, they kick the ball to the 2 yard line, they return it to the 50 or return it for a touchdown. We have speed. We have guys that can make plays of our own on the offense side of the ball, whether it's kick returns, whether it's punt returns. And Young is going to be that dude. So, just another body to add to the receiver room. Could it be a guy that, could be a breakout guy when he comes to the Raiders? We'll see. We'll find out. But definitely a gadget guy. And where do these receivers that we're bringing in leave Trey Tucker? We'll get into that in a minute. But Trey Tucker, and I know people are going to think I hate Trey Tucker because I feel like I say this every single year. But Trey Tucker seems to be that guy that could be on the outside looking in once again. We sign guys with his speed, with his size, that are a little bit more physical, that have a little bit more production. And I'm not saying Trey can't be that guy. But for now, I mean, we're looking at what? I think $8 million left on our salary cap. And I know you're going to tell me we have $27 million on the cap and we can still go out and sign 25 veterans. That's not the case. I should have saved my mustache. That is not the case whatsoever. The Raiders have $27 million. I've said, somewhere around 14 mil is what you have to, 10 draft picks. That's not counting if the Raiders trade back that 36 pick and pick up another two more picks, right? But the 10 that we have right now, that's somewhere between 15 million. I mean, you're drafting the number one quarterback overall. He's going to be up there 8, 9, right? Somewhere close to 14 mil comes off of the money that we already have. So the money's going down. Trey Tucker will never get past the fact that he has a body catcher and doesn't trust his hands. And that's going to be a problem, right? We have guys that we brought in that, can catch the ball, that will catch with their hands. They don't dive for passes, that are thrown in the breadbasket on a wide open throw. And nothing against Trey Tucker. That's just, who he is. But even in the return game, right? When you're running kick returns or punt returns, he's just not that crafty of a dude for his speed. He's just not shifty enough. So, and some of these guys we brought in are that, right? Jalen Naylor, another guy. Special teams, right? We're going to have actually a battle for special teams because we already got some players. Is DJ Turner still on the roster? Does anybody know? I'm going to have to look that up. I know he was on the roster last year, and I didn't know. But why wasn't he running special teams, man? Why wasn't he in kick returns and punt returns? I'll never understand it. But Jalen Naylor, right? A guy that was fourth string in Minnesota, comes to the Raiders. They're expecting him to be that number one. You got some competition, man. Jack Bech ain't going to just sit back and be like, oh, you're going to take my job, right? So competition in the building is what they preached last year. It never seemed to happen, but it's happening this year. Jalen Naylor is going to add competition with Trey Tucker. I almost said Jacoby Myers. With Trey Tucker, Jack Bech, Dante Thornton Jr., Cedric Jackson, Shredrick Jackson. This is a guy that can make some noise in camp. I mean, one play, one touchdown last year. A guy that's a speedster, great nephew of Bo Jackson. The Raiders seem to lately want to be bringing in these guys that have the bloodline. Speaking of bloodline, there's another one in the draft they could probably possibly bring in. But Jalen Naylor brings a lot to this team, right? He brings that physicality that Jacoby Myers had, that that hard hat mentality. He's physical. He can block. He can run routes. He's gonna stretch the field if you need him to do that. And I think just all these signings, man. Quay Walker. We talked about Quay Walker. We already know his athleticism, his ability. Some people just say he needs to mentally put it together on the field, right? And stay healthy. But that's why we brought in his boy from Georgia, Nakobe Dean, because Nakobe Dean is that guy. He is that scholar, that all about the books, all about knowing the play. If you watch film on Nakobe Dean, his instincts are absolutely crazy. He's already hitting holes. He's already breaking on the ball before the ball snapped, which is why he's such a damn good player when he's healthy and he's on the field. Availability is the best ability for Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. They gotta stay healthy, man. If they can stay healthy, they change this defense 100,000%. Having Max on there, having oh my God, this defense has a possibility to be very, very good, really very good. Quiddy Payne on the other side, a guy that can put his hand in the dirt, be that fourth, defensive lineman, a guy that can rush off the edge, that can be, that linebacker that you need him to be. We already know Maxx Crosby, nobody wants to see him in coverage, but he can, right? Had his first pick last year, a guy that could play in coverage, right? He has the speed, he has the length, as long as it's not, 20, 30 yards down the field. But this changes a lot to this defense. Max being back. Let's talk about that for a minute, right? Maxx Crosby being back. What does that bring to this team? Of course, it brings the leader back to this defense. A lot of people were happy that he was gone. Not happy, but just happy with the way the future was going with the draft picks, right? You were going to get a first round this year and a first round next year. It didn't work out. As Max says, everything happens for a reason. And hopefully that reason is for this defense to finally be feared again, right? Finally be feared again. I've been saying for the last 2 years, man, we have the pieces. Last year, we know what happened. Pete Carroll was all in Patrick Graham's business. Shout out to Patrick Graham. Hope he does well, where he's at over there. But we had a soft defense. Nothing against the players. Our defense was soft. We didn't blitz. We didn't force turnovers, right? We didn't make plays on the defensive side of the ball that we needed to make. And I believe we're bringing in playmakers, right? We brought in probably good, 10, 12, 14 players that can contribute right away. Some of these guys were already here, like Eric Stokes, like Malcolm Kuntz. And I think it's going to be a different story this year. We've seen the coaches. Maybe you haven't seen, but the coaches taking pictures out at Red Rock as a group, right? They're bonding. They're starting to, have chemistry together. And a wise man once said, if your coaches can't coach as a team, how do you expect your team to play as a team, right? And that is the problem we've had in the building since Gruden and possibly even Gruden. Maybe everybody wasn't bought in then either. But since Josh McDaniels took over as head coach of the Raiders and Dave Ziegler was the GM, there's never been that chemistry in the building, right? Some coaches weren't happy, players weren't happy, nobody was happy. AP took over, they were happy for a couple weeks. Then AP got the head coaching job, brought in a whole different staff. That didn't gel, it didn't work. The coaching staff has never been together. And I feel like this coaching staff with Clint Kubiak at the helm, I feel like they already are a lot tighter, way tighter than the coaching staffs we've had in the past. And that is how you rebuild, right? That's how you get on the right track. That's how you start winning games. Is you got to have your coaching staff on the same page, everybody heading in the same direction, not having a tug of war constantly in the building of, wanting to run the ball, wanting to pass the ball, who should be the quarterback, who should be just handed the quarterback position, right? No competition whatsoever. So a lot of that is changing, and that's all because of Kubiak. So shout out to Kubiak. Shout out to, of course, Spy Tech putting it all together. Of course, shout out to Tom Brady for bringing Spy Tech in the building. You got to give them all. Did the laughing emoji on the reel about Max, about the Seahawks online. Damn, we deleting all kinds of messages. Trolls today. To be fair, the green screen makes the top of your hat look green also. Well, it's not. But I don't know how that's fair. Saying. Joe Flacco, no, come on, man. Don't do that to me, 5'10". No. I mean, if you're telling me, look, if you're telling me Joe Flacco's coming in the building to be quarterback number 3, let's be honest, quarterback number 3. You're there to be a veteran. You're there to, help the guys along, be that guy in the locker room, whatever, be the mentor to Mendoza. But you can't have him be quarterback 2 and have Aiden O'Connell on the practice squad. You just can't. And are the Raiders in a position where they can have 3 quarterbacks on the roster? Do they feel like this roster is going to be strong enough with the rookies we bring in, with the UDF players and the players that we've already brought in? Is it strong enough on offense and on defense that you can have 3 quarterbacks on the roster? Because if you put them on a practice squad, somebody's taking either one of those guys, right? But having Flacco in the building as the 3rd quarterback, as the guy that's on the practice squad, is he willing to do that? Come on, really be on the practice squad? I don't believe that. And I don't see the Raiders being in a position right now with the roster, and I could be wrong, after the draft and, the rest of free agency, maybe they are in that position that they can have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Some teams do. You can have that emergency guy, I guess, now. Maybe you put him as the emergency quarterback, right? So I don't feel like the Raiders, with $8 million left, I mean, let's be honest, right? 27, you got 15 taken away. You have players that they just signed today. Right? There's, you got to have money on the books for, you know, for rainy days, so to say, right? You got to have money for when players get hurt. If something happens and you have to go out and sign a guy, because too many injuries at one position, these things happen in the NFL. And to not have any money left on the books would be crazy for the Raiders. So, yes, they can move some things around. They can restructure, Max Crosby's contract. We'll get into that in a minute, which, if Max really is all in for the Raiders, that's best for the Raiders, right? Restructure that contract, give us a little bit of money, whether it be, another $5-10 million, it does make a difference. So yeah, happy St. Patty's to everybody. Quay should help Tyree Wilson too. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna help a lot of people, but the knock on him has been just the focus, right? The penalties when you don't need to. Everybody knows the athleticism, the traits are there. He's he's nasty. He's a missile coming downfield. He can cover, right? He can do all those things you want your linebacker to do. But the mental part is, what I've heard from other people, that not in my opinion, just what I've heard. And I think Nakobe Dean coming in, it changes that, right? He's a guy that very, very, very well educated when it comes to football, a guy that's in the film room. And with them having the chemistry that they already have in Georgia, them being friends, talking, still to this day, they said Quay Walker said he was on the phone when Nakobe Dean got signed as well, because he called him and let him know, hey, I'm about to go to the Raiders. And they were on the phone actually talking when he got picked up. So the bond is there. We haven't had two linebackers that are already gelled in a long, long time for the Raiders. We haven't had physical linebackers like Nakobe Dean. Like, for his size, people don't realize how physical he is. Like, he's a guy that when he hits you, you're gonna know, right? With that speed, that build, it's gonna be different, man. It's gonna be different. And these, if these guys, get together, helping Tyree, helping, Cody Linderbaum, helping Tommy Eichen, not Cody, Cody, whatever the hell, all the Eichenbergs. Fuck it. But yeah, the two linebackers we have on the roster already, I think this is big. I believe that's why Nakobe Dean is there. I think he's a guy that not only helps the linebacker room, but he's going to help the corner room. He's going to help the defensive front, right? He's going to let these guys go and eat. He's going to free up Maxx Crosby. You're not going to be able to double team Maxx Crosby if you have five offensive linemen and a running back, right? There's no way. If we blitz with Quay, in the 7-man front, you drop a linebacker, you drop two, and you blitz, five. You can't double team Max, right? It makes it a lot harder on teams. And this defense has a chance to be very, very damn good. Um, y'all need the luck on your side. I mean, everybody needs luck. Everybody needs luck. Shit, I need some too. Lawrence, my guy, was good. Appreciate you. Sucks my guy. Rashid is a free agent. He got picked up. Where did he go? He got picked up right away. No, she isn't there, Troy. What? Y'all get rid of Gino? Yes, we actually got a 6th round pick, gave them a 7th round pick in Geno Smith. So again, shout out to Spy Tech, man, just working his magic. But yeah, so to me, this defense is lacking one thing. We need a true nose guard. Can JJ Pegues step up and be that guy? I hope he can. I really hope he takes that next step. But if you're telling me, our front three right now is is um is Booker, Jonah Laulu on the outside, Laulu, and then whoever in the middle, I mean, I'm good with that. Whether it's JJ Pegues, whether it's Tonka Hemingway, whether it's Adam Butler, right? I think that's a pretty solid front three. And then you got Payne and or Malcolm Coons and Crosby on the other side. I think that's the front seven is nasty. Nasty. Drake Young is a solid signing as a wide receiver five. But is he gonna be a five though? Can he take that next step? I mean, he's got guys to beat out. I believe he's going to be more of a special teams. I think that's his job right now. And yeah, so probably that fifth guy that comes in on certain packages, maybe on third down just because of his speed, right? So you have that, um, have the defense having to worry about a reverse or an end around or something, right? A guy you put in motion, make the defense move around. I think he's definitely gonna be that guy. I like Young. I like the signing, and if you know me in this channel, man, I've been saying for since I started my YouTube channel, we need somebody that can run kickoff returns and punt returns. It is a big, big thing in football, man. It is huge, right? The crowd goes crazy. It flip flops the game. If you can score right away, I mean, it doesn't help your defense to have to be back on the field, but it changes the game. It changes the game, and we haven't had a game changer in a long, long time. Do we want to keep Max? That's a good question. That's a good question. There's been reports out there that the Raiders, are still taking phone calls for Crosby. Crosby says he's all in. Crosby says, he didn't want to be all in before. Are the Raiders not all in on Crosby because of the reports from the Ravens? There's a lot of questions that I can't answer, right? I can't answer. But I've said this, and, we stand our ground on this channel, right? 10 toes deep. When I say shit, I stand on it. And I said, I don't feel like Max was going to get traded this year. I thought he was going to be here till next year. Now, next year, that's when all the talk starts, right? Because yes, he has 2 more years on his contract, but those years are not guaranteed money. History has proven with Maxx Crosby, he doesn't play on no guaranteed money, right? This has been a big problem that a lot of people have talked about. He gets all of his money up front the first 2 years. The bottom 2 years, the last 2 years are not guaranteed, and he gets a new contract. So where do the Raiders go? Where do the Raiders go with that? His trade value. If he goes out and has 15 sacks this year, do the Raiders trade him just because his trade value goes up? Or do they keep him in the building because he had his best year of his career, right? There's a lot of questions. So I think those questions will be answered a lot closer to the trading deadline this year, right? If Max is healthy, if he's playing damn good, there's going to be teams calling and saying, hey, we have 2 first-round picks, right? If he's not, if he's, if something happens, God forbid, please don't let anything happen. But if he's, something stupid happens and he's not 100% again, I don't know, man. There's a lot of questions to be answered. If you watched The Rush with Maxx Crosby today, I watched a couple minutes of it. I wasn't really buying a whole lot of things that were said, but but that's just me. Oh, we still got Brandon Rice too. Yeah, Brandon Rice is another one of those guys. Shout out Nation 510, appreciate you. I had 4 lot slizzers last night in a competition. Damn, that sounds like that sounds like a battle, bro. Who won? Who won? Still need a running back too. So who is that running back too? Do the Raiders go pick up somebody in the draft? Do they try to see what they have? Obviously, they're going to see what they have in camp with Dylan Labe. I believe they move on from Mostert. That's just my opinion. So who is going to be that guy? I mean, you have Najee Harris out there. You have Brian Robertson Jr. There's not a whole lot of options, right? There's not a whole lot of options. But I agree 100%. We need a running back too. Shit, I wouldn't mind if, we had a running back 3 that could, block and just catch out of the backfield. I mean, I know Genty can do it, but to have 2 or 3 guys back there makes a big difference. So we have a lot of needs with not a whole lot of money. It's not a whole lot of money. It's looking like they're going to have to develop some guys really, really quick. Some guys off the practice squad, some guys off of, the UDFA market. Guys are going to have to develop. Or you make some trades, right? You make some trades. Trey Tucker is a name that comes to mind. What can you get for Trey Tucker? Can you get a 5th round, a 4th round? Where was he drafted? In the 3rd? I mean, then you start looking at guys like, right, who's going to call? Colton Miller. I'm sure. Looking at the Raiders salary cap, a lot of teams right now are going to be looking at, damn, they're going young, right? Spytek is building this thing the right way. It seems like youth is the way we're going. If you look at the linebackers we signed, both of them 25, with huge upside through through the roof. There isn't even a ceiling on the cap for either one of those guys in Quay and in Nakobe. So with the Raiders going young, there's got to be teams calling saying, man, what do you want for Colton Miller? There's a lot of teams that need left tackles, right? I've heard there's been, people already calling and saying, what's the deal with JPJ? Where's JPJ fit in on your line? Is he going to be that guy? Can he beat out Caleb Rogers? Can he beat out Jordan Meredith on the other side, which last year he seemed to have problems beating out Jordan Meredith. Lost his job at center, lost his job at right guard the year before. Where does JPJ fit in on this? So with our salary and Max coming back, it hurts us a lot, but it also helps us. If you tell me you get a healthy Max through the season that has a chip on his shoulder, that has something to prove, that's all in, I think that helps this defense. I think it helps it an awful lot. The Las Vegas Raiders continue to work through the second phase of the NFL free agency as they have signed offensive lineman Spencer Burford. Yeah, I seen that. Appreciate it. Shout out. We talked about it a second ago. Just, another pickup for us. Continue to build in the right way. Who do you think will play linebacker? Linebackers will obviously be Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker. On the outside, it could be Quay Walker. It could be somebody that, that takes a role in camp, that plays, that kind of inside role. It could be Malcolm Kuntz as the right outside linebacker. Obviously, it's going to be Maxx Crosby as the left. So it just depends. It just depends. If you're asking me right now in a 3-4, I'm saying my two middle guys. I don't know if I'd put Quay there. I'd want Quay Walker on the outside. I think he's faster. Can get to the quarterback maybe a little better than Malcolm Kuntz at this point. Faster than Quiddy Payne, but right now I'm looking at Maxx Crosby, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, and Quiddy Payne. I think those are your four guys. Now again, we have to remember that the Raiders are going to be in a 3-4, probably 27% of the time, right? Most of the time, they're probably going to be in a nickel. That's my guess, just what I'm guessing. And if that's the case, do you have Maxx Crosby as your defensive end? There's a lot of things they can do now. There's a lot of things. And for one, we have to know what kind of defense that Robbie Leonard is going to run, right? Is it going to be physical? Is it going to be corners blitzing? Because we have those corners that can blitz. Eric Stokes, fast as hell. Darian Porter, fast as hell, right? Big, long, lengthy, can tackle. He's a guy that you could send off. We have linebackers that can cover now, right? There's a lot of things that we can do on this defense with the guys we're bringing in, and with with Rob Leonard in the building, man. I don't think there's gonna be, other than probably Quay, Max, and Nakobe. I think those are the starting guys, but I think those guys' positions will move around, right? I think there's plenty of times you might see Quay on the right outside. You might see him on the left outside with Max hand in the dirt, right? They're going to mix it up an awful lot. They're going to keep offensive lines guessing. You're going to try to force teams into running a lot of 12 personnel, which would benefit us. I wish we were still gone. Still have 30 mil. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. Look, I'm not. I said this before. If Max doesn't want to be here, then he can't. It's time to go. But that $30 million could be made up. It could be made up. They can move players around. They can trade some players, right? They can renegotiate some contracts. Maxx Crosby's contract. There's some other guys in the building like Adam Butler. Has he played up to his contract, that big bag that he got? There's stuff they can do, right? That 30 mil would have been nice. Those 2 first-round picks, I'm not gonna lie, would have changed this Raiders franchise. But having Max on your defense changes your defense. It makes your defense 100 times better with the guys that we've brought in. So yes, the picks would have been nice. Yes, the 30 million would have been nice. But Spytek, to me, is a genius, bro, and I think he's gonna work around that. If the Raiders want Max to be here, that could be a question too, man. That could be a big question. Do you think Maxx Crosby will or can play linebacker? Yeah, I mean, you could play right outside linebacker, right? Because a lot of those times, you know, depending on the defense, that linebacker could be your ghost nine and have his hand in the dirt, right? He's fast enough, he can move around. Do you want him in coverage? Probably not so much. But I think with the speed we have, on the back end, maybe safety. I mean, safety's still a problem. Safety's still a question for me. We need speed at safety. I love Isaiah Palomau. I love Jeremy Chin, right? But Jeremy Chin's more that physical, other linebacker in the box that he might also play one of those four linebacker positions an awful lot like he did last year. That could be another option. So I think Max can play the position, right? And he's going to be moved around, man. He's going to be moved around. Rob Leonard, I know, has a plan for Max. I know Travis Smith has a plan for Max, right? A damn good defensive line coach is why Khalil Mack, was as good as he was in his rookie years, is why Max Crosby was as good as he was. I keep saying this. Travis Smith is one of those guys, and he's going to have this defense ready to go. With him and Rob Leonard, this defense is going to surprise some people. I really do feel that. Um, do you think we should have signed Malcolm Kuntz if we knew we were keeping Max? I I don't think so. Not at that price, you know. And and maybe they negotiate that too. Is there really a team that's gonna pay Malcolm Kuntz $11 million? I know what the market is, right? I know it's up there in the 20s, 20, 22. But you're not going to get that from Malcolm Kuntz coming off an injury, coming off a year where you had what, 3.5, 4.5 sacks, if that, 3.5 sacks. I think 25 pressures or something. Not a very huge year for Malcolm Kuntz. So no, I don't believe that if the Raiders knew Max was coming back, I don't think Malcolm Kuntz would be here. So maybe that's the guy that you restructure his contract and tell him, look, we didn't plan on your boy Max coming back. uh, I know we offered you 11. Will you take 6? I mean, it saves you 5, right? And I think he's worth that. But yeah, the Max deal changed everything. I said this the last live I was on. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. That money was already accounted for, I believe, and it changed it changed the whole direction of free agency, the draft. It changed a lot. We have to keep AOC. We will only have 1.5. Well, hey, 1.5 is better than 0. Furpo in the building. Raiders. Jason Ruiz, what's good, my guy? Divinity Tees, what's good, what's good? Appreciate the $5 holler. Sorry I didn't see that. Faded Raider with the other $5 holler. Back to back $5 smackaroos. What's good? Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Are you watching a baseball game? What baseball game? USA? Nah, man. Nah, I'll catch the replay. I will catch the replay. If I'm watching the Hogs baseball game, no, I am not. But I hope they're winning. Speaking of Hogs, how about them Razorbacks? SEC champions. If you watch basketball and you don't know who Darius A. Cup is, the point guard, freshman for the Arkansas Razorbacks, you are missing life. If you love basketball, you are missing Damian Lillard, Allen Iverson, a little bit of Kobe, all in one, man. This kid is a Detroit native, and sorry to jump off subject, but if the Arkansas Razorbacks are playing, you have to watch. You have to watch. This team is electric. They lead the college basketball in dunks with 206 this season. These guys are crazy good, yo. All right. Did we ever get 5 million from Alex Kappa? I didn't see it mentioned once throughout free agency. I don't know what we got for Alex Kappa. I don't think it was 5 mil. I think we lose some. So um, I think we lose some. Stop the cap. What we capping on? We capping on. What else? What else? What didn't we get to? But yeah, man, just this defense. I think it, the surprises are coming, right? But where do y'all feel? Where do y'all feel? Let me know in the comments since I'm caught up to the comments and I can actually read the comments. Where do y'all feel this Raiders defense ranked, right? We were, I think, 15th in points allowed, in rushing yards allowed, and then bottom of every other category. But it definitely changes, right? It definitely changes this defense. I think it makes us way better. You have Darian. Damn, X is blowing up. What happened? What I miss? I seen that already. Sorry. Spencer Bruford, Raiderson, Shotgun Law, got all that. Damn, X is blowing up. But yeah, man. Damian Lillard, Allen Iverson. Come on, you go watch basketball. Go watch Hogs and tell me he doesn't have the exact same left hand, step over, shoot the three, nothing but money. He shoots 43%, I think, from the 3 point line. He has the nastiest Allen Iverson get to the hoop with his body, little floater to the basket. I'm telling you, the dribble skills are there, the passing skills are there. He makes this whole entire team better, man. Dude, Darius Acuff is a monster. Some people are saying they would draft him first overall in this year's draft. He's that good, and he's a freshman. He's a freshman, and he plays for Calipari. Come on, man. You know anybody that plays for Calipari? Just look at the players in the NBA that have played for Coach Cal, and then go watch this freshman. You're gonna be like, what the hell? Yo, what? If I want to watch the Hogs, I'll go to Kroger's. You're not right for that, bro. You are not right for that. Mm, you are not right for that. Did you hear Max podcast? He is saying it was difficult leaving, seeing all the players that they picked up. I think he's a man that wants to come back home. And I said it before he left. I said it. Go check the live. The grass is not always greener on the other side. And I believe Max Crosby saying that his beef with Alex Guerrero or Tom Brady or whoever it was, not to speak for Max Crosby, right? But um, believe half of what you right? Believe nothing you see and half of what you hear or whatever, however he said that, right? So don't believe anything you hear, right? Um, does he really have a choice? I mean, does he really want to be here? You heard on this podcast say, look, I had some problems with some people in the building. That's all, that's all forgotten. Yeah, of course it's all forgotten. When you go to a team that traded 2 first round picks for you and they literally didn't want you. They didn't want you. That's the case here. It wasn't, his knee or long term. They made a mistake and they was like, damn, we could get Trey Hendrickson and keep our 2 first round picks. They didn't want Max. So you heard him talk about reality hitting. He's worried about his knee. Did they find something he's not telling him about? And I'm sure the Raiders are wondering the same thing, right? Is this doctor that he claims, is the greatest because he goes to his house and hangs out with the dude and he's buddy with? Is this the greatest, orthopedic surgeon out there? I don't, or whatever surgeon out there. I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, he doesn't really have a choice. Nobody's going to trade 2 first round picks for a guy that they don't know is healthy, are going to be healthy, are going to make it through the season, are going to make it long term, right? Nobody's willing to take that risk. If the Raiders didn't take him back, where would he be? I mean, so yeah, you got to say you want to be here. Yeah, I feel like you have to, and you have to, eat a little crow and kiss a little ass. I mean, you have to. Rebel, how do you get rubber cement off your fingers. Just glued something. Acetone. Acetone. Dawn dish soap might take some of it off, um, but acetone works the best. And rubber cement, bro, you just peel it. It shouldn't stick that bad. Keep your fingers out of the glue, man. Keep your fingers out of the glue. Uh, but yeah, so as far as that goes, man, the Crosby situation it's a sticky situation. He said it himself. You're never gonna find out what happened from either side, and so all we can do is speculate. And my speculation is, you also heard him say he seen a dead body outside his hotel room 2 years ago when we played Baltimore and won, right? So you think his wife wants to go to Baltimore? You think she wants to take her what 2 year old, how 3 year old, however old his daughter is, to Baltimore? Come on, I think that was a big no. And the grass, like I said, is not always greener on the other side. You met some shady head coach, a shady owner, right? A shady GM, didn't feel right in the building. You go to work out, I'm sure it's not the facilities you have in Vegas. So yeah, I'm sure he felt like, damn, the Raiders are getting all these players. They didn't do this shit when I was here. And somehow he ended up on a jet back to Vegas. So I hope he just has the best year, of his career. I really do, because it helps us. It helps us. So we hear all the talk about Crosby wanting to be great, wanting to win a championship. I want to be legendary, but I've never heard him say, I want to win the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders a championship. It's always me, right? I want to do this. I want to do this for the players. I want to do this. But he's never said, I want to win a title for Mark Davis, right? I want to win for the guy that, the GM I say I love, and, we have a great relationship, and, we go out to dinner and all that. Have you ever heard Max Crosby say that's who he wants to win for? For the fans? For the organization? For Max? No, it's always Max. I want to win for Max. I want to win a championship. But he never throws Raider Nation into it. He never throws the Raiders into it, right? He wants to win one for himself. That's what he wants. And he was more than willing to go to Baltimore. He said it on his own podcast, and win a championship there. He would have been happy with that. It didn't work out. And now Raider fans are just accepting the fact that he's back. I think that's crazy to me. I really do. I really do. He said he's a Raider for life. Don't think he's playing out his career as a Raider or possibly get traded years to come. I mean, I think trading Max for what they think he's worth, that's never going to happen. So trade talks for Max, like I said, unless he goes out and balls out at the beginning of this year and the phone is just ringing off the hook with teams offering 2 first-round picks. Other than that, if he's a Raider for life, prove you're a Raider for life. Help this team out, right? He sat on his podcast today, whoever brought that up, and said, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the wins. So if it's about the wins, help the Raiders go out and get some more players to bring to the Raiders to help you and the Raiders and the fans win a damn championship, or at least make it to a damn playoff game and win one of those. I'd be happy with that. But if that's really your goal and your mission and money isn't the object, then be like, yo, let's restructure this contract. Let's make it 5 years, 5 years, whatever, with so much little guaranteed, right? Or as much guaranteed, so it's not as much on the books for the next 5 years. No restructuring, no trade talks, just be a Raider. I think that'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. But the fact that he was happy, the fact that he said Flock Nation, I'm never going to get over that shit. I will never, ever, ever, every time he speaks, every word that comes out of Max Crosby's mouth for me is Flock Nation, Flock Nation, That's all I hear. That's all I hear, bro. As long as he realizes that he's not getting any more money, he's he's gonna get more money. Damn well he's not gonna play for no guaranteed money. With his injury history, it would be a crime for his agent to let him play with no damn guaranteed money. But let's talk about this, right? Because we're all on the Max. Max is back. Max, 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 Max. Let's not forget, if he really wanted to be gone, and we heard him in his podcast say he had problems with people in the building, right? If he didn't want to be here, how little and how quickly he forgets about Mark Davis and the Raiders and everything they've done for Maxx Crosby. Drafted him, like he said, in the fourth round when a lot of teams probably weren't going to take a chance on him. But the Raiders did, right? Mark Davis just threw $10 million at him 2 years ago because he wasn't making enough money. He got injured that season, didn't even finish, missed what, 4 or 5 games that year? They gave him a $10 million bonus. The Raiders and Mark Davis have done everything for Maxx Crosby. They have catered to this man. He wants players, they bring in players. He wants a coach in AP, they sign AP. They keep him as the head coach. What Maxx Crosby has wanted, Maxx Crosby got. And then, because he didn't get to play the last 2 games, he was willing to throw everything that Mark Davis, the Raider organization, and the fans have done and believed in Maxx Crosby because of his issues with Guerrero, with Alex Guerrero or Tom Brady or whatever his issues are. I think that's petty as hell, man. I really do. I really do. And I think it's shitty that you could just come back in and be like, this is where I belong. This is where I always wanted to be. I don't buy that. I don't buy that whatsoever. Raiders always catering to him. No one is bigger than the program. And they do. I mean, they've done it. They've done it every year, right? They've shown. Max has no guaranteed money. Oh, let's restructure his contract. And they make it seem like, oh, they're doing the Raiders such a big favor. And now I get it. He's not the highest paid, defensive end. But wasn't it him himself that said, I don't care about the money. The money will be earned when you earn it? Do we really think Maxx Crosby, being the only all-star on the defense year in and year out, should be the highest paid or deserves defensive player of the year? I mean, I don't know. To me, I don't. I didn't think the Flock Nation comment. That's why I was letting the Raiders trade him. It's not that I didn't like him anymore. It's just a difference. I won't buy his jersey or anything. I thought, it was a slap in the face. It was a slap in the face to all of us. Max Crosby literally said, "Pow!" Like what he say? He was on the way to the slap, whatever you call that, right? That's what he. I mean, basically, that's what he did. That's what he did. That's how I feel. That's how I'm gonna feel. Now, does he help this defense? Yes. Right. Feelings aside, emotional feelings aside, attachment to the Raiders, all the shit aside, Maxx Crosby is still one of the best players in the league. And if he's healthy, he makes this defense totally different, right? You can just move him around so many different positions. Hopefully he can play that, outside linebacker. But again, that's, probably 25, 30% of the time that they're going to be in a 3-4. My guy Pigs in the building. Power slap. Yeah, that's what Pigs was good, man. I seen you on Turf Show. Nice. Y'all got a nice little thing going on over there. I watched it the other night. Shout out to you. My only issue with Max is chumming it up with Donald Trump. With Trump and Dana White. His business entity, just like anyone else, is playing in 2026. Sports has been tainted by sports gambling. That's facts. Yeah, Turf and I have been getting work in. Yeah, man, I like it. I like it. Nice little groove over there. Um, but yeah, man, appreciate you pulling up. It's been a minute. Yeah, I think the Max thing, it is what it is, right? At this point, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised you know, if he's not here next year. I really feel like that. I think maybe some of the situations in the building, not just through him, but maybe with the people in the building, right? Cannot be completely mended. Now he said it is. He said everything's good, and I hope that's the case, man. I hope that's the case because the Raiders don't need any more drama. We don't need any more, constant talk. The next time I hear anybody talk about the Raiders in social media, I want it to be like, damn, this team is different. This team is winning. The Raiders are on a 5-game win streak. They came out and started the season hot with Aiden O'Connell. Or I guess Mendoza. I was thinking of another. I don't think they're gonna bring in another quarterback. I'd be surprised if they do. It's probably gonna be you know somebody that's not trying to make $12 million a season like Kirk Cousins. I think that's just way um, out of our price range right now. I don't see Kirk Cousins signing for a league minimum. Now, if he does that, that's fine. That just tells me that he's probably not expected to play, right? And he's just going to be a guy that's going to come out and mentor Mendoza, help out AOC, with the second being that second quarterback. And I'll take that all day. But let me know. Let me know. Who do you guys think the Raiders bring in at quarterback? Do they bring in a quarterback? Do they draft another one and have three young guys competition in the building? I keep hearing this talk say the Raiders don't need a quarterback coach. We have Tom Brady in the building. Why can't people seem to get the fact out of their head that Tom Brady is not in the building? Tom Brady is not mentoring quarterbacks. Tom Brady is not developing quarterbacks. Tom Brady is working for Fox. The only thing he's developing over there is a following for himself. That's it. Aiden O'Connell is the only vet quarterback we need. He's a great teammate for whomever we draft to work with. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Brady is on an ego trip, lol. and that ego trip's gonna get just bigger and bigger and bigger, right? If the Raiders start winning, and I'm just not here for that, man. I don't think Tom Brady needs to be in the limelight like he is. I know that's Mark Davis's boy. I know he says Spytech is running the ship, and Tom Brady's going to help him out, but I just don't feel like that needs to be the case. I think Tom Brady needs to step fully away or be fully committed. If you want to be that guy in the Raiders, come develop Mendoza. Come help Aiden O'Connell, right? Help these guys be the best quarterbacks they can be. If not, then just be a minority owner, you know, make your money, make your money through Fox, and just stay out of the news for the Raiders, which I know is not gonna, it's not gonna happen. Probably it's not possible because he is Tom Brady. But I think Spytek's doing a damn good job. I like the way the direction the ship is steering, and I think this man is very, very knowledgeable. I can't wait till the draft to see what you know, all of our new scouting guys come up with. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, Brady has his boy Alex, and I think that's a problem too. I think Alex Guerrero being in the building, you know, having having a power trip, right? Having some people say having um the power of a GM, like, or or a manager in the building. I think that's way too much. That's way too much. And hopefully, I'm praying to God. I'm praying that the Max Crosby leaving and coming back, Spytek says he believes Tom Brady likes him because he's not afraid to stand up for himself. He's not afraid to tell Tom Brady when he's wrong. And I believe Spytek needs to stand up to Tom Brady and tell Tom Brady, I got this, bro. I got this. I got this. I got this. We don't need your guy in the building. If he wants to be a trainer, fine, but he doesn't need to report to you. I report to you. That's the only report you need. Because if it's rubbing Max the wrong way, it's obviously rubbing other people in the building the wrong way. And I don't think that's a good look for the Raiders. So hopefully they get something resolved with that situation. Maybe Mark Davis has to step in and say something. I don't know, whatever has to happen there. But that, that can't be an issue. You cannot have a trainer having power that's rubbing players the wrong way. And that's the reports I got. Spytek for sure needs to be the voice of reason. He needs to just be the voice, period, right? He just needs to be the voice. I want one full year, this offseason, this draft, and this whole entire season of no Tom Brady talk, all Spytek. Everything that goes wrong, everything that goes good, put it on this man's shoulders and let him be that guy. And we'll find out really, really quick if Spytek is him. I believe he is. I'm on the Spytek train. I think this dude has done nothing but help this team since he's been here. I don't know how much say he had in whether or not Pete Carroll was the head coach. I don't know how much say he had in his sons being, part of the offensive system. I don't know any of this. I don't know. But what I do know is I like the role he plays. I like when he speaks, he don't beat around the bush. It's no crap coming out of his mouth. He says what's on his mind. If he doesn't want to tell you something, he lets you know. Like the Max situation, he's like, man, I'm not telling you that. I'm keeping that in house. So I like Spytek, man. I like Spytek, and I think if he just gets to do his job, this team is going to be very, very scary. Brady and Alex need to understand their role. Facts. You're a trainer. You're a personal trainer. That's your role, right? You don't need a doctor's role. You don't need to be the opinion of why a player can or cannot play. I don't think that's what you get paid to do. And you're Tom Brady's trainer. Be Tom Brady's guy, bro. Be Tom Brady's guy. But I feel they'll get that figured out. I think Spytek's a very smart man, and he's gonna know, how to nip this in the bud. I feel like, hopefully. Um, what was I looking at? So biggest needs, man. Where do the Raiders go from here? I think the I think the future is only up, right? I think the future is only up. If if a big if again is if Spytek and Tom Brady, Max Crosby, right, can get this thing situated and figured out so everybody knows, and I feel like everybody does know Spytek is in charge, right? He is the guy to answer to. I think it'll run smoother, man. I think it'll run smoother. And I think with all the additions that they've brought in, this defense has a chance to be very, very scary. And I know people are skeptical because it's a first year for Rob Leonard being a defensive coordinator. But the guys that he's brought in, the experience he has on the defensive side of the ball, whether it be defensive backfield, linebackers, defensive line, right? The guys that he's brought in have the same. There's a lot of experience for very, very young guys, right? Mid 40s, late 30s. I think a lot of these guys are. So that's huge. Um, what else? Spytek needs to grab his role by the scuff of the neck. And as a Scotsman myself, needs to channel his inner Scotsman. Hey, that whatever he needs to do, man. Like, and I feel like he does, right? He seems like he's that no nonsense guy. He's not afraid, like he said, to tell Tom Brady when he's wrong, to tell Mark Davis when they're wrong, to tell the head coach when they're wrong. And we need that in the building. How are you doing tonight, Real? I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Thanks for asking. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But yeah, so the future, man, where do we go from here? I think we need a nose tackle. We need a nose tackle. We need that 340-pound guy that's athletic, that can eat up, the A gap, both sides, right? Take on the center, take on the double team. Because if you have a nose tackle getting double teamed, Quay Walker, Maxx Crosby, Twitty Payne, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, Nakobe Dean are all going to be a problem, a huge, huge problem if you have a nose tackle that's taking up double teams. You're going to force teams into 12 personnel, into 13 personnel. We have the linebackers and the speed on the defensive side of the ball, I believe, to cover pretty much anybody in 12 personnel. I don't see teams that have fast enough, linebackers that are going to outrun us in 12 personnel. So I feel like if we can force teams into, doing what they're not comfortable with, having to go to maybe a swing tackle, or bringing in, another tight end on the line, it's going to be a big, big problem. Now, the problem with that is we have Jeremy Chin, who I still love. We have Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Palamau, and who's the other guy? Anyways, we only have three. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now, but we only have three safeties. We don't have a true free safety. We don't have a guy that can go sideline to sideline, and I believe that guy is in the draft. So, stay tuned. Tomorrow, we will talk about safeties. We are going to talk about the Raiders' needs. We're going to do some mock drafts. I do believe I have my computer working. I have a new microphone I need to set up tonight, get that all ready to go. And hopefully that works. But if it doesn't work and I can't do a damn live on a computer, I don't know. The lives are going to be few and far between, because going on the phone just irritates the hell out of me. How is your faith in Coach Kubiak this season? I think he's going to surprise some people. I believe Kubiak has made a statement that a lot of people missed, right? He's been asked over and over again, this is a rebuild. How do you plan to rebuild, right? And he cuts them off and says, yes, this is a rebuild, but don't think I'm not going out there trying to win every game, right? So he said, it doesn't matter who's on the roster. I have a system, and that system fits. Whether it's a starting quarterback, whether it's a backup quarterback, whether it's a starting tackle, whether it's a backup tackle, his system fits the NFL, and he believes there are guys in the building that fit his system. So, based on that, I think we win a lot more games than people are thinking. How many of those games? I'm not there yet. What? Yeah. Brady needs to chill out a bit. Just be there as a second option. But a spy tech. Wait, but what? Where the fuck did I go? Oh, but spy tech. He has his head coach on Tom Brady. Doesn't need to tell him. Spy tech's got this. Sign Lorenzo Styles, please, God. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I would love that, dude. I would love Lorenzo Styles. It's crazy how some of these mock drafts still have him going in the 6th and 7th round. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like he's a guy that was highly, highly overlooked in the system that he was in because of the players around him. Yeah, Lorenzo Styles, I would be ecstatic, bro. If they got somebody with that speed in the backfield that can just develop into that, you know, I don't want to throw comps out there, but just a guy that can cover sideline to sideline, that could be that third corner in the defense. that's fast enough to be that last line of defense that can tackle. I love it. I love it. I think that would be great. But I think there's some guys up there that, they need to look at before that. I wouldn't mind seeing two safeties in this draft, right? We don't have the money to go get one in free agency. That's going to help us, maybe a veteran, but I don't think you're going to get the speed that we need and, a sideline to sideline cover guy that can make tackles. You just don't get those guys in free agency. They don't let those guys go. So that guy is going to have to come in the draft. And I believe the Raiders going to have a lot of defensive picks in this draft. Mark my words. I think the offense is pretty much set. I mean, maybe another offensive lineman, right? Maybe a receiver in the third round. Because damn, in the third round, at pick 67, there's a poop ton of wide receivers. Whether you need an X, whether you need a slot, whether you need a guy that could do all the above, can be your number one X receiver and your number one slot receiver. Um, yeah, there's a lot of those guys. So, who do you like more, Hunter or Miller? Hunter or Miller? Who? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Based on what we have right now, what do you think will be our record? That's rough. Um, right now, I'm thinking minimum 6 games. Minimum 6 games. I feel like we win at least one game in the division, which is going to be hard. The Broncos just got Waddle. They overpaid for Waddle, but they will be seeing the Waddle, Waddle, Waddle. Um, Hopefully not in Vegas, but in Denver. Raider Paul was good, my guy. Appreciate you. Fanbo was good. Appreciate you. But based on right now, I see us winning. I see us winning 6 or 7 games. I think if we don't win those games, a lot of our losses are going to be within a touchdown. I think this team is going to be competitive. I feel like last year it's not going to be the same. We're not going to, you know, lose 6 games by 15 points or more. We're not going to be shut out. Knock on wood, 31 to nothing. I just don't feel that with Kubiak and the players we have on defense. Right, defense is going to be key this year, and I think a safety and a safety and a nose. That's all we need on defense. I'm good with the corners. I think we can cover though. I'm good with the linebackers. Everything else I'm good with, man. So yeah, if we win 6, 7 games, I'm totally happy with that. It doesn't put us in the top five picking again, right? Doesn't have make it to where one of these first overall picks in the next 2 or 3 years are going to have to walk because we can't afford to pay them, right? You can't constantly be a team like the Jets and be in the top 10 because then you have to trade guys like they did, right? You have to trade first round picks and start over. And those picks never really develop for them. So I don't want to be that team. I know Spytek doesn't want to be that team. He said he'd rather, you know, gradually rebuild this thing the right way. So this is a team that's in the playoffs every year, not just one year, right? We're not just trying to buy a Super Bowl. Like I figured if we lost last year that the Raiders would go out, spend all the money in free agency, which they have, and try to buy a Super Bowl. Just don't think we have enough to do that. So yeah, 6 wins, man. I think 6 or 7. Now they could surprise some people and maybe win one or two more. I think we have what we play the Jets, who are as a team that could be nasty, could be very nasty with all the money they're spending, all the draft picks they have. But it just depends on which teams go up and which teams go down this year with the new head coaches. There's a lot of them, what, 10 or 11 head coaches around the NFL. A lot of new teams, a lot of new faces, a dog barking. Um, So yeah, man, I'll be good with 6 wins. I'll be good with 6 wins. Anything less than that, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed. On 67, I'm going for Chris Basil and Skylar Bell at pick 36. I'm going for an O line, true wide receiver, and a safety. I'm not mad with that, Alpha. I'm not mad at that. I will say that Chris Brazel, I think, has a very high chance of going in the first round, if not, early second. But I don't feel like I just don't see the Raiders are in a position to spend a high draft pick on a receiver this year. We did last year. We got one in the second. We moved back. Yeah, I could see them doing that if they move back into the second and grab a Skylar Bell. I would love the shit out of that. I love Skylar Bell. I think he's a dog. A lot of talk about KC Concepcion. There's been talks out that he had to have surgery this offseason to clean up some meniscus stuff like Crosby. That's probably not a good sign. So, but there's receivers, man. There's receivers galore in this draft. And offensive line. Why do you still feel we need offensive line? If it's not right tackle, let me ask you that. Because I know we need a right tackle, but I still have faith in DJ Glaze, man. He was left on an island so many times by himself last year. He's just not that athletic. He's not a guy that has the recovery speed to where he's beat to be able to recover like that. And DJ Glaze is not a guy that when you're lining up, at the Y9 or the Ghost or whatever you want to call it, if you're lining out there and you get a running start on him, he just doesn't have the athleticism and the speed to recover. And then once he's beat, he's definitely not recovering. So DJ Glaze, I feel in a wide zone, he's not going to be left on an island so much, and he's going to have monsters next to him. Hopefully, if I'm right, it's Caleb Rogers. I feel like Caleb Rogers, Lindenbaum, JPJ in between Lindenbaum and Colton Miller is going to be a nasty offensive line. But they brought Meredith back. And I don't know how you keep him off the starting, I don't know how you keep him out as a starting offensive lineman. So, again, there's going to be questions on this offensive line for the first time in a long time. But I love Skylar Bell, Chris Brazel, having two Tennessee wide receivers, I don't think could be a bad thing. I think he's a little farther along already than Dante Thornton. I wouldn't mind Chris Brazel. Mendoza, Genty, Bowers going to eat, right? 8 wins this year, D-Money? Okay. I like that. 10 wins if we start clicking. All right. Let me ask you this, Raider Paul. Is that with Mendoza starting year 1? Or is that with your boy Aiden O'Connell? My boy Aiden O'Connell. Definitely playoff bound. Our goal should be championship and then next year's Super Bowl. Build from there. Okay, Alpha's on board though. He's sipping the Kool-Aid. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I want that to be the goal. Like 100%. Playoffs would be great. But you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs with 2 first-round picks. You're looking at you're looking at Mike McDaniel with the Chargers and Justin Herbert in our division. You're looking at a third-year Bo Nix with a guy that could have been our head coach calling plays for the Broncos, right? The division got harder. Bo Nix has Waddle to throw to. Mike McDaniel is going to make Justin Herbert, I think, insanely good if they bring in speed. Like I think they're going to bring in, they have a guy that they drafted from Ole Miss last year and Trey Harris that I thought was going to be one of them ones. Now he has some health issues, but this division is nasty. The division is nasty. You could say Kansas City might be in a rebuild, but it might be one of those rebuilds like that, right? They only need a couple of pieces. They got to get the offensive line together. They have the running back now. That's going to be scary for Kansas City. I just don't see playoffs this year. Now that should definitely be the goal. Should be the goal every year. I just don't see the playoffs this year. Would I love it? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And we're not done. We're not done. So my shit's gonna change. But my guy Lauren said, as of right now, where do you see us? Right now, I see us at 6 wins. And I'll give you my reason. We don't have a true X. We don't know who the offensive line is going to be. We don't have a true nose. And we don't have the safety that we need in the backfield. So until we get those, I don't see us winning more than 6 games. But if we get those in a draft and they're coming out and, they're hot in camp and they look like a guy that's going to take the starting role, yeah, that record definitely goes up. Raiders signed Spencer O-line from the 49ers, breaking news. And that's... Does he play tackle? Can he play tackle? Let me look this up for a minute. Let me see what they say about him on the Vegas thing. Come on, give me a report. It says guard. So I don't know, bro. I'm really not understanding what the Raiders are trying to do with their offensive line, to be 100% honest. I mean, you have Caleb Rogers, who came out and played his ass off in the last, 4 games, 5 games. I think he gave up 1 sack, if he gave up any. The man, for a rookie, coming out and playing the way he did, should have every opportunity to battle for that right guard spot, I feel. And I don't think there's anybody that's on this team as good as Meredith was at that spot, as good as everybody thinks JPJ is at the right guard spot. I just don't think they're better than Caleb Rogers. So bringing in another guard, to me, is kind of crazy. I mean, I think Spencer's going to be all right, but we have 8 guards on this roster right now, and we only have 63? We brought back some today. I think 67. So I think we have 67, I do believe, players on the roster right now, active roster. We need 90. We need 90 for camp. That's 23 more guys. Offensive line was not a need, though. Unless they're just not comfortable with Caleb Rogers. Maybe they're not comfortable with Antonio Mafi. Maybe they're not comfortable with JPJ. Like I said, I've said this before. I would not be surprised if JPJ, as much as I hate to say it, as a content guy, as a YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, right? I have to put stuff out there when when I'm hearing things and I feel like things are going to go in a different direction. Like, why are you bringing in all these guards? You already have Will Putnam you brought back to be the backup center, right? So we have a backup center. We have 8 guards, now 9 guards on this roster out of 67 guys. That just doesn't make sense to me. So I hope that there's a reason for this. It's just a body. Hopefully. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I know there's going to be a crazy competition for every spot on this offensive line this year, except for maybe center and left tackle. Everybody else is fighting for their life. If we get a veteran quarterback, it should be Depot's Aaron Rodgers. He's perfect to mentor Mendoza. I feel like Rodgers and Mendoza are kind of different personalities, different quarterbacks, and Rodgers just doesn't seem like that mentor guy. He doesn't seem like a guy that's willing to, to help these guys out. Now, if he's willing to do that, that would be great. But at what price, though? At what price? Because again, if we're looking at like $8 to $10 million left by the time the draft and everything goes through, I just don't feel like a quarterback is going to be on there. The O line is looking nice. It really is, except for the right tackle spot. And again, I have faith in DJ Glaze. I hope they can, keep him to where that's outside zone. They put a tight end and make that the strong side all the time. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Put your tight end over there, whether it's Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers, whoever it is. Make sure your strong side is the right side of the field. I'm completely fine with that. But they have to figure out something at the right tackle position. Interior, I see everybody constantly drafting interior guys. But why do we keep signing interior guys? Like it's another one, right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So tomorrow we'll break down the roster. We'll break down every position, who we have at each position, what we need to fill. But it's not a lot. For the first time in free agency, I could sit up here and tell y'all we don't need a lot. We really don't. Mendoza starting year one. I believe he should. I believe he should. After preseason, he'd be ready. Watch. Mahomes out for 6 weeks. Justin Fields starting. Is it 6 weeks? Damn. I heard Mahomes would be back before that. So we'll see. But Justin Fields in Kansas City, I hope if Mahomes is out for those two for 6 weeks, I hope we play Kansas City week 1 and week 5, right? That's what I'm hoping for. Let's get Kansas City without Mahomes with Justin Fields in there. I'm 100% with that. I'm a guy that still has Justin Fields back. I don't know why. I keep believing in this young man. I just feel like the coaching staff is not doing this man justice. The teams are not building around his strengths, which is, being able to move the pocket, to roll out. He needs to help himself by being more accurate throwing on the run. But Justin Fields, if you just look at the athletic traits, kind of like my guy Taylor Green, who don't be surprised if somehow ends up getting drafted in the second or third round, has all them athletic traits. You just got to find a coaching staff and a head coach that is willing to build a team around him. The Chiefs aren't that team. It's Patrick Mahomes' team, right? So they don't have time to build a team around him. I think he kind of fits in with what Mahomes does over there at Kansas City, right? A guy that can move the pocket, a guy that can roll out, that can throw on the run, a guy that can run to the line of scrimmage and act like he's going to throw right and then take off running like Mahomes does all the time. I think that fits for them. But that might be bad. It might be bad for Kansas City to have this man have to start for 6 games. Chargers lost a lot of defense. Yeah, and they lost their defensive coordinator. But they still have Harbaugh, so they'll be back. Donkey's the only team to worry about. I hope that's true, man. I hope that's true. But Kansas City just got Kenneth Walker III. I mean, that changes that offense dramatically. They haven't had a number 1 running back over there since Mahomes has been there. I mean, Pacheco was that guy for a little bit, but what was he drafted? 6th or 7th round? So it changes Kansas City a lot having Kenneth Walker over there. If we skip out on a quarterback, for a defensive player, 2027 quarterback is going to be way better. We're down to rock with AOC this year. I would finally get a real shot at playing quarterback. I wouldn't be mad if AOC got a full shot at playing quarterback. But here's my thing with that. Grandpa Harold, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you. How's everything going? Here's my thing with the AOC thing. What if, just what if, Aiden O'Connell comes in and performs like I know he can in the right opportunity, and you drafted Fernando Mendoza? Do you do what the Minnesota Vikings did? And hear me out. Because it's Aiden O'Connell, Sam Darnold, you make your own decision. But I could tell you what, in the first 20 games of Sam Darnold's career compared to Aiden O'Connell, it's night and day. Aiden O'Connell was way better, way more advanced. Didn't take 5 years to develop like Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold killed it with the Minnesota Vikings. But the Minnesota Vikings made a huge mistake. They drafted a quarterback in the first round named J.J. McCarthy. And after 1 year, and Sam Darnold went out and had his best year of his career with the Minnesota Vikings, takes them to the playoffs. They decide to go with that rookie because he was drafted in the first round. Well, Sam Darnold just goes to Seattle and wins a damn Super Bowl. Do we really want the Raiders to be that team? Because I feel like they could be. If Aiden O'Connell gets the start, 6-1 when the Raiders rush for 100 yards, I think there's going to be a whole lot of 100-yard rushing games with the offensive line we have with my guy Ashton Genty back there. And if that's the case, Aiden O'Connell could play very, very well and win enough games to where teams are like, damn, he might be the number one quarterback in free agency. Then what do the Raiders do? Do you really move on from him and let him go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl? I would die, bro. I would probably blow my brains out on No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I mean, it could happen, bro. It could happen. It could very well happen. So I don't want the Raiders to be that team to have, give Aiden O'Connell weapons, given an offensive line, and he'd be that to come in and take us to our first playoff game in a long time would be crazy, crazy talk. And in a Kubiak system, I think it could happen. I really do. He has all the weapons. We finally have a defense that I believe is going to make some turnovers. They're going to make some plays. They're going to be physical. They're going to put quarterbacks in awkward positions. Make them throw off the wrong foot, make them throw off balance, right? Make them throw on the run. So that's why I don't know. It's kind of why I'm on the Derek Carr. Derek Carr, pull up tomorrow. We will be talking Derek Carr for the first half of the show. My 10 reasons why we don't bring back Derek Carr, and then we'll go from there. But so skipping out on a quarterback this year, the only way you don't draft a quarterback this year is if you bring back Derek Carr. If you trade a pick for Derek Carr, you bring him back to the Las Vegas Raiders, you let him take us to the playoffs and win the playoff games that we should have won with him all the years he was here. That's the only way you don't draft Fernando Mendoza, in my opinion. Now, draft Fernando Mendoza and let AOC start for, the first couple games. That could be a problem as well. What if those couple games you come out hot as hell with Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders are on a win streak, right? Say they come out and win, 3 games or 4 games, or they come out and they're 4-0 or 4-1. Can you really justify taking him out because you believe your rookie quarterback drafted first overall is ready? See, that's the problem the Raiders had with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer. That's the problem the Raiders had when they benched Aiden O'Connell and brought in Gardner Minshew. That's the problem they had when they benched Aiden O'Connell and brought in Geno Smith. None of those quarterbacks were ever better than Aiden O'Connell. None of them played better. None of them should have been played in front of Aiden O'Connell, but they all made way more money, cost us a whole lot of players that we could have had. And we just can't beat the Minnesota Vikings, bro. We can't beat the Minnesota Vikings. I don't want to go that route. I don't want to be a team that, because look, I mean, let's be honest. If you watch film on Aiden O'Connell, yes, he's a statue, but you don't have to move the pocket. How many times did Sam Darnold run last year? I think it was under 20. Under 20. Now in the playoffs, he ran a couple times, picked up some key first yardage, right? But, That's straight line run. He's not running sideline to sideline, outrunning anybody. Their offense was for a pocket passer. Aiden O'Connell could be that pocket passer, right? All day and twice on Sunday. And Ty Simpson, bro, Ty Simpson. I've said this before. If you're looking at Ty Simpson before Alabama got beat up, before their run game fell apart, Ty Simpson was a dog, right? Who's gonna draft him? If you look at the players coming out next year, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with the Maxx Crosby trade. I would not be surprised if the Raiders trade Fernando Mendoza. I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted him. I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted him and tried to move back up into the first round. I wouldn't be surprised at anything they do this year, whatsoever, whatsoever. The Raiders are my only family. Grandpa Harold, what's good, family? Appreciate you. We are your family. You are my family. We all family. Hit those thumbs up. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. D Money. We ain't passing on Mendoza. He's 6'5". I don't think they should pass on Mendoza. And some people are probably gonna be like, "What?" I don't think we should. I think we should draft him. I think we should draft him. I thought about it. I've argued with people. I've heard their points. I've made my points. I think you take the chance. I really do. I really do. Now, again, if somebody's offering 3 first-round picks, I don't think you could not take that. I just don't think. If somebody's giving you 3 first-round picks for Mendoza, I feel like you have to jump on that. Now, again, it's where those picks are that is going to, make or break the deal. But Mendoza, is he the best, is he better than Cam Ward? Is he better than Caleb Williams? Is he better than all these quarterbacks? A lot of people have Caleb Williams ahead of Mendoza. And it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for a guy that could just make plays, make shit happen when everything falls apart, then yes, Caleb Williams is way better than Mendoza. But if you're looking for a guy that gets up every time he's knocked down, that doesn't complain to the refs, that's not going over to the sideline and throwing his helmet down or covering his face and crying or pouting, Mendoza's that guy. Mendoza's that guy. If you want a guy that's going to be in your playbook, not going to be out at the clubs in Vegas, 5 nights a week, Mendoza's that guy. I just don't see how you pass on him or why you would pass on him unless it's 3 first-round picks. Rogers sucks. Grant sucked and Kappa. Rogers doesn't suck. Caleb Rogers played his ass off. What games were you watching, my guy? Caleb Rogers is a dog. Spencer's gonna start. That would be nice. That would be nice. I wouldn't, I would not be mad whatsoever if Caleb Rogers, he's probably gonna be pissed. But I wouldn't be mad if Caleb Rogers sat for another year. If somebody was there that was better than him, I just don't feel anybody is. Like his arm length, his athleticism, right guard is his spot. I'm telling you. Do all the guards have wrestling experience? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know our center does. I know JPJ does. We ain't signing a veteran quarterback. I hope to God not. I hope not. Kubiak came to Coach Mendoza. Tight end can always help with chips and blocks. Facts. I believe at pick 36, we have a true nose tackle. And then at pick 37, a true wide receiver. I would love that. I would absolutely love that, Alpha. That would be, that would win us the draft and free agency. I think that would kill it for us, really. And then third round, a running back, 4th round safety. I would go probably opposite. I wouldn't mind if the safety was in the 3rd round at pick 67. I wouldn't mind that at all. But but I wouldn't mind wide receiver there as well. But I think the Raiders could get by, man. I really do. Like, there's a lot of teams that have X receivers that don't make the playoffs. that don't make the playoffs. There's one team, Cincinnati, that has two of those guys. They don't make the playoffs. They have the best quarterback and the best receivers in the league, in my opinion. They don't make the playoffs. So that X receiver can be overrated. It's the offensive system, how you use them, and I feel like we got guys that Kubiak wants, that fits what he wants to do. But I wouldn't be mad at either of that. I think running back we can get in the fourth round. We have three fourth round picks. I'd be willing to swing for the fences for a running back there. I'd be willing to swing for the fences. I mean, probably not going to find a number one wide receiver, but shit, you never know, right? They didn't think that when they drafted Armand St. Brown or um, a lot of these cats that fell, right? Mahomes, never to be the same, Rebel. I hope not for our sake, for our sake. But knowing Patrick Mahomes, man, knowing his work ethic, the dude was already walking. I seen him at a basketball game, walking to his front row seat the other day. I don't know. I know he's had a lot of injuries with the ankles, with the knees, and they're going to catch up to him, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if the dude comes back better better than he was before. He's just that type of baller, man. He's gonna get scared to get hit like Carr. I hope that's the case. I really do. I think that's a different injury though, right? Carr broke his leg, broke his fibula. I think that's different than tearing your knee. A lot of these guys have, had knee problems in the past. But I hope it makes him timid. I hope it makes him not want to get hit, not want to move around. Because let's be honest, Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite for the NFL is when he's out of the pocket, right? And if you can keep him in the pocket, man, that sure helps a whole lot of shit for us. We're in the building. Man, you guys in your fake titles. What? Raiders huge signing. It was a huge signing. Did you miss it? Did you miss it, bro? It's a huge signing to me. Um, Wait, what happened? We signed Spencer Buford from the 49ers, man. What do you mean fake titles? There was a huge signing. And I was talking about Linderbaum. I was talking about Quay Walker because I haven't been on in a week. So, um, yeah. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. Huge signings for what? Our quarterback stinks, and we need everything to be perfect. No injuries. Well, 23 years later, it's still injuries. Wait, what? But come on, let's be honest. Most quarterbacks, um, we're gonna get, yeah. Most quarterbacks in the NFL need everything to be perfect, right? There's only a handful of guys that can make plays, that can make stuff happen when the pocket breaks down or the play breaks down. This you're acting like there's 32 quarterbacks in the NFL that can do that. When really there's only probably five or six, right? There's not too many quarterbacks in the NFL that can make plays on the run or ad lib when shit breaks down. So just my opinion. I love Taylor Green. I can't believe you're the only Raider fan that thinks yes, Taylor Green is a quarterback the Raiders need to have a different skill set level. Raiders fans understand. But it's the funny thing with Taylor Green, and I appreciate that, but I'm an Arkansas boy, so I'm kind of got my blinders on a little bit with Taylor Green. But come on, man, the athletic, the RAS score is tops in NFL history. NFL history. That's better than Jalen Milroe. That's better than Anthony Richardson. That's better than all these, athletic quarterbacks that everybody thought was going to be great. Taylor Green is better than all of those. And at his pro day, he was ripping it up. So, yes, I believe Taylor Green is a quarterback. And, I think he would be great in a Kubiak system. If you get a Taylor Green in a Kubiak system to develop for 2 years, the sky's the limit for this kid, man. The sky's the limit. Like I said, he's faster, he's more athletic. And the funny thing is there was a bunch of Raider fans, most of them content creators, that wanted Jalen Milroe, that were like, oh, if we could get Jalen Milroe in the second or third round, because he played with Alabama. But if you look at Taylor Green's numbers compared to Jalen Milroe, his numbers passing wise are better than Jalen Milroe's. He interception wise was better than Jalen Milroe. So yeah, man, Taylor Green is that dude. But I find it crazy that, 1 year everybody wants a Milroe, Anthony Richardson, right, a Jaden Daniels, and now this year everybody's hyped to have a pocket passer in Mendoza. It just baffles me. Um, AOC not better than Mendoza. Do you know that for a fact? Do you know that he's not smarter than Mendoza? Is his arm better? Have we seen him side by side? I do know one thing. Aiden O'Connell against Michigan State had 534 yards passing. I know in his career at Purdue, he had two 500-yard passing games. Mendoza ain't never had a 500-yard passing game. So if we're talking about decision making, pre-snap reads, throwing guys open, leading receivers, Aiden O'Connell can do all of that Mendoza can do. The only difference I see between Mendoza is he's a little bit more athletic and he's a little bit more gritty. He's got some toughness to him. Aiden O'Connell don't. But right now, I think Aiden O'Connell, 3 years in the NFL, is way ahead of Mendoza, honestly. There's a lot to learn coming into college, coming from college football to the NFL. There's a reason a guy like Drake May didn't start till, the second half of the season, right? There's a reason guys like Tyler Shuck taken in the second round didn't start right away. It takes these guys to develop, and yes, his mobility is going to help him, right? Sam Darnold was a first round pick, but what is that? That's exactly my point. You just helped my point. He was a first round pick that took 7 years, 6 years to develop in the NFL. Aiden O'Connell took 5 games, took 5 games, 6 games. When did he come in? They were what, 2-6 or whatever when he took over. He came in, hit the ground running with a. I shouldn't have to explain this, with the OC that had never called plays before in Bo Hardegree, man. Sam Darnold, you're right, and Aiden O'Connell are not the same, bro. Aiden O'Connell is a way smarter player. D-Money, the defense did stop the Cavs. I know, LOL, but he was starting a quarterback. A win is a win. It's a team sport, right? You can't have slower, and slowest at quarterback, right? Definitely can't have that. Those at AOC and whoever the next slowest quarterback. What? And whoever the next slowest quarterback they can put their hands on. Intelligent teams have completely different quarterbacks in the quarterback room. Like who? Like what teams are we talking about, G Warb? What are we talking about? What teams? Kubiak likes car? I know Kubiak likes car. We'll get it. Tomorrow is the car conversation. We'll break down that. Um, why are we even having a hypothetical jinx conversation? Typical Raiders losing mentality fan base. What? What's the hypothetical question? I like Carr for tanking to get good draft picks. What? Wow. Gregory Stevens. That's crazy. You think Derek Carr We would sign the tank. If we were trying to tank to get good draft picks, why wouldn't we just keep Geno? It don't make no sense. Plan B is never plan. Plan B is never got Plan B ready to be better than Plan A. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I've had plenty of times where my Plan A didn't work out, and it seemed that Plan B was a better option than Plan A. Multiple times, multiple times. So there's a reason you have a Plan A and Plan B, and sometimes Plan A was way better than Plan. Sometimes Plan B is way better than Plan A. Their ID, no way they are trading out of the number one pick this year is losing setback. It wouldn't be talking seriously as a franchise. I think anything can happen in the NFL. Really, I think anything can happen. Are they dead set on Mendoza? I think it's 98%. But again, that 2%, right? Nobody came in here and told me I was right when I said Maxx Crosby was going to be traded. Y'all told me that would never happen too, right? So, you can come in here with hypotheticals, the same thing, and be like, oh, Mendoza's never going to get traded. But you don't know, because somebody could easily say, bro, I got 3 first rounds, and they take that all day. If you're telling me I could take 3 first round picks, I could end up getting the best defensive player or the best offensive player in this draft, and I could get a Ty Simpson. Come on, man. Or I could take a Taylor Green in the 3rd round. I'm doing that all day. Raiders are stuck on a stiff quarterback that has no ability to escape the pocket, make plays. If your quarterback doesn't have that, he would not be a great quarterback in organization and can't get past pocket quarterback. Who are we talking about? G Ward? Fill me in. If we're talking about Mendoza, you crazy. Because Mendoza is way more athletic than people, seem to give him credit for. I don't know how many of y'all have ever been on a football field and tried to tackle somebody 6'5", but let me know. Let me know in the comments. How many people have actually tried to tackle a 6'5" guy? Let me know. Let me know how it worked out for you. It doesn't matter how athletic you are. This dude is big. Mendoza is 6'5". He has muscle. He's not the slowest guy. He don't have to have the fastest 40 time to break tackles and to run guys over. And I've seen him do that constantly in college. Will he do it in the NFL? I don't know. But his athleticism is way better than people think. I don't think people are giving credit to Mendoza that they should. When he runs, bro, he's crafty. He's crafty as hell, right? Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys. He ran a 4.8 40. But on the football field, it doesn't look like that. He's constantly running away from guys. He's constantly making guys miss. But Mendoza don't have to make guys miss. He's just running guys over. Just straight running guys over. Would you trade 36 for A.J. Brown? I would. I would all day. I would trade A.J. Brown for 36. The Eagles, I don't think are going to. But yes, if you're telling me I could get my number 1 X receiver for a 2nd round pick in a rebuild year, yeah, I'm taking on that. I just don't think the Raiders have the cap space or the money to do that. Looking at the players that have been out of the lead at the quarterback position, looking at the draft picks, forget Colin Kaepernick is coming back. Raider Nation, what? What are we talking over here? I don't even know what y'all are saying. Doza has no it factor for a number 1 overall quarterback. Heisman and scouts have been to the point with the last 5 years of top quarterback. Look, and they said Bryce was too small, so you don't see it with Mendoza. Sorry, dude. I disagree. I've watched many games with Mendoza. Not just the same games that everybody watches, the Iowa, the Penn State games. No, I watched, them shitty-ass teams. I watched them all throughout the playoffs against Ohio State twice. I disagree. Mendoza has an it factor that none of these quarterbacks coming out in the last 5 years have had. He's got more heart than all of them. I guarantee you that. This dude has been, looked down on. He's been told he's not that guy, right? He has struggles in Cal, but look at his games in Cal, man. Didn't have the greatest offensive line, didn't have a star X receiver, and did pretty damn well. Still put up pretty damn good numbers. Not great numbers, but put up good numbers. Um, does that it factor? Does that it factor have to be a guy like Caleb Williams that's going to run around the pocket, or Shador Sanders that's going to run 15 yards, 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and if he don't get the ball out, take a sack and cost your team valuable yardage? Mendoza's not that dude, right? Does does having that it factor? What is the it factor to you? What is the it factor to you? Because to me, I think he has all the it factor, right? He has intelligence, he has the love of football, he has the want to get better. He's very very humble. He's not flashy. You won't see this dude rocking $200,000 chains and having gold teeth and shit, right? So I think he has the it factor. He has the it factor like Joe Burrow. But if he had the blonde hair and the blue eyes and looked like Joe Burrow, everybody on the planet would be saying Mendoza is the greatest quarterback to ever come out of college football. People are hating on this dude because of his character, I believe, because they think he's a nerd, and he is a nerd. He'll admit it. He's a nerd. But why wouldn't you want a nerd at the smartest position in all of football, the quarterback position? Tell me that. I want my quarterback to be the smartest guy on the field. Mendoza is going to be that. Aiden O'Connell has been that. You don't have to have the it factor, doesn't have to be flash. That it factor doesn't have to be speed. That it factor could be accuracy. It could be heart. It could be the will to constantly go forward and not go down. The will to get back up when you get hit. Right? We see a lot of these quarterbacks get hit, go to the sidelines, get injured. Right? Mendoza's not about that, bro. So he has a lot of it factors, I believe. Toughness. He is one of the toughest quarterbacks I've seen in college football in the last probably 10 years. You don't see guys get smacked like he did in the whatever game that was, the first play of the game where they come out and just pow lit his ass up, right? He's laying on the field for what, a minute and a half, gets up, goes to the sideline, out one play, comes in and destroys it, right? There's not a lot of quarterbacks that have that in the NFL. So I think he has that it factor. And I think the it factor that he has is a lot of it factors that a lot of quarterbacks since Joe Burrow haven't had, right? The the vision, the the accuracy, the timing, the precision throws. That is a it factor because not every quarterback coming out of the NFL drafted first overall have those, right? Cam Ward, good accuracy, but he was labeled as a gunslinger, right? A guy that, is going to win with his mobility, guys that can, throw on the run. But he was lacking what a lot of people said. A lot of quarterbacks don't have the vision, the intelligence, to be able to read defenses, to know, hey man, this dude's lining up on the outside. As soon as we hike this ball, if I throw it on the inside, there's no coverage, right? There's no coverage. He's not a guy that's going to stand in the pocket all the time. And when he does stand in the pocket, I see Mendoza can take the time to stand in the pocket 3-4 seconds and still have escapability because of his height, because of his those long legs, the physicality that the dude carries everywhere he goes. So I think he does have that it factor. I really do. And Bryce Young, I said the same thing about Bryce Young. Intelligent, smart quarterback, hell of an arm, great decision making, but he's small and he's going to have to figure out how he gets those passes. You know, is it passing lanes? Is it rolling out of the pocket? Is it taking a 10-step drop instead of a 7-step drop, right? Some of these shorter quarterbacks have to do that, but the Panthers stuck with this dude, and he's turned out to be a damn good quarterback. Bryce Young he killed it last year. I mean, he got his team to the playoffs. So, I mean, if Mendoza gets us to the playoffs, how can you complain about that? I just don't see that. Happy St. Patty's Day to you. What's up, cool boy in the building? Patrick Mahomes is recovering. Mad that Max is coming for him. He needs to be. He needs to be worried about the fact that Nakobe Dean is coming for him, because when this man comes on a blitz, Patrick Mahomes is gonna get lit up, and Quay Walker too. Um, if that wasn't clear, I said the top scouts have not missed on the top quarterbacks in the last 5 or 6 years, and they don't see, and I don't see it with Mendoza. I believe he got that. Caleb, Jalen Ward, Stroud, May, Burrow. Right. I guess it depends on what scouts. I mean, I guess they've got it right, right? Caleb Williams seems to, taking that next step this year. Bryce Young seems to taking that next step. Yeah, they seem to get it right, and I think Mendoza's up there, man. I really do. I agree. I think he's up there. Also, Jalen Naylor, too, didn't we? Yeah, Jalen Naylor. There's been a lot of signings. They let to the show. LOL. What? They late. Oh, so I'm like, what? Taylor Green reminds me of Vince Young, but faster. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. If you tell me you get a faster Vince Young with with upside, with the ceiling through the roof, I would take that. I would take that. I just don't see Taylor Green being a Raider quarterback because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't like mobile quarterbacks. He don't believe quarterbacks should run out of the pocket. It lessens their longevity in the NFL, taking hits, getting concussions, getting injuries, right? So, but if we didn't have Tom Brady, man, whoever gets Taylor Green is gonna get a dog. Just mark my words on that. Kubiak could bring in the best out of AOC. I think he is ready. I think he is ready. Skip on quarterback. And AOC, I mean, to be honest, bro, to be honest, look, Aiden O'Connell, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in 17 games. I've already broke down all the quarterbacks drafted in the first round that he's been better than the last 25 years. It's a lot. It's an awful lot. So, yeah, if you give this guy protection in a running game and a defense, I mean, you should be able to win your third year in the NFL, no matter what round you were taken in with your, the way he's in the playbook. I hear a lot of people saying, well, Aiden O'Connell's got to learn a new playbook. If you ask the people in the building, they were going to Aiden O'Connell every time the playbook changed because he was ahead of everybody else. The dude picks up the playbook like that. He's ran a lot of systems now. He's been in the NFL for a minute. He had 8 years. He was the eighth string quarterback at Purdue. For 6 years, he was at Purdue. So he's seen a lot of stuff, right? Seen a lot of systems, played in a lot of different shit, against a lot of different defenses. And I would love to see him get his chance to shine. But I feel like that's not the best thing for us, to be honest. I mean, what? He goes out there, he plays good for a year, and then what? Then he becomes the backup to Mendoza? That would suck ass. Raiders need Taylor Green. You never know, you might need him. The NFL figures out Mendoza can't run and his wide receivers aren't open. Going to be 60% quarterback running plays, Raider fans, and their pocket quarterbacks. Bro, I'm, I don't know what you want me to say. I'm a big Taylor Green fan. Look, if you're telling me right now that the Raiders could trade back the number one overall pick and get Taylor Green, if I'm a GM, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm taking my chances because, like you said, it's a running league now, right? It's a running league. And when you have an Ashton Genty in the backfield and you have read options with Taylor Green and Ashton Genty, I mean, come on, that's crazy. He could hold the ball and throw it 80 yards down the field. But that's just, that's just a dream scenario. The, the Raiders aren't going out and drafting a guy like Taylor Green. If they do, I mean, shit, you're gonna see me act a fool. You're gonna see me act a fool. Our plan B is never good. When it counts, sorry, dude. I'm typing too sloppy if I see it. I thought you were getting ready to move off the show, so I was typing fast. Yeah, I was gonna go, but I gotta get through these comments. What else we got? What's good? What's good with you? What teams generally have 3 first round picks? It's not a risk I would take to have the best opportunity to get to get our franchise quarterback. Which teams generally have 3 first round picks? Not a lot, but this year there's a whole lot of teams that have 2 first round picks. What, five? 5 teams? That's crazy. That's crazy. As long as he can ball, I don't care. Um, Taylor Green's a baller, man. He's a baller. He's got some, not the best decision maker sometimes. Trust himself and his arm sometimes too much. But all those things could be worked out. Jawan Jennings could potentially be the wide receiver one that I would sign in free agency. We don't have the money to afford him. We'd have to sign him to a 1 year, 2 year deal with, all the money guaranteed up front. I wouldn't be mad having him on the roster. I mean, I would not. Um, and then draft at pick 36. I would look at a nose tackle, safety at 102, looking at Kalen Black. I think Kalen Black will be probably 6th round, 5th or 6th round. There's a lot of running backs in this draft. There's like not so many, needy running back teams, I feel. So I think a lot of running backs are going to slip in this draft. My day was good, my guy. Appreciate you asking. How was yours? Those will not have an elite team he had in college, which no one has seen in decades. Ever since elite discipline, which the Raiders never have. Those 3 and 15 is a death sentence. Um, those are in the 3rd and 15. Uh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I know Indiana, it was a system fit, all of that. But why can't the Raiders create the same system fit for him in the NFL? Right? He had a great offensive line. We can build that. He had a solid ass running game. I think we could have better than that with Genty. He had 2 great receivers. I think we have 2 good possession receivers in Brock Bowers and Jack Besh. So what are we missing? He doesn't have the defense that Indiana had. Do we know this for a fact? I feel like this Raiders defense could be top 10. If this Raiders defense is top 10, what does Mendoza not have in the Raiders organization that he had in Indiana? In the draft, who do you like at defensive tackle? Um, I wouldn't be mad at Orange. I wouldn't be mad. Um, let's see where my list, what I got up here. There's so many names, man. So many names. Trying to go through basketball season, football season. Where are my defensive tackles? I can't find them. I don't know where the hell they are. I mean, the kid from Ohio, I think Caden would be all right. I really wanted a kid out of Florida State, but I guess running the 40, he broke his foot. I did not know that, so that that sucks. Jotted Barron, what the fuck? This is last year. Hold on. All right. Nope, that's not it either. Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know where all my shit went. That's Edge. I don't know. I think it's in the other book. Um, we'll have to get to that tomorrow. But I do know one thing though. When it comes to what is this? This is Edge 2? Yep, that's Edge 2. When it comes to our defensive line, I think there's a lot of upside to it, right? We drafted two guys in the 6th round in Tonka Hemingway and JJ Pegues. Tonka Hemingway, showed huge upside when he was on the grass. JJ Pegues didn't get to see as much, because of the guys like Thomas Booker in front of him. So I've said this for the last probably 2 months, right? I feel like it would be a horrible mistake for the Raiders to go out and try to fill all these positions in the first year because a lot of these guys didn't get a chance to show their worth because of the head coaching last year and the favoritism in the building, right? A lot of these guys, like and Richardson, got pushed to special teams because for whatever reason. But we all know that in training camp, from what we've seen, and Richardson was better than Kai Blue Kelly, but Kai Blue Kelly was starting on the outside. And and Richardson was nothing but special teams, right? You've seen guys like um, Jonah Laulu, who the year before was starting to come on at the end of the season and the beginning of the season. He was getting a lot of snaps. Had four sacks in the first 5 games, I do believe. But then his numbers started to deteriorate. So a lot of these guys, we didn't get to see, what they can do. And I think you have to let last year's draft and the year before's draft, you have to let these guys develop before you keep going out and drafting these positions. So um, hopefully we go position in need, right? And we go get a right tackle that can compete. We go get a safety, maybe two, another running back, an X wide receiver, right? But defensive tackle, where's my phone? Um, it's definitely a need, man. It's definitely a need. Let what? Let this sink in. Mendoza and Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning. And one, let that sink in. I think we would be dumb if we were to pass on him, period. Um, I don't get the. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, Mendoza is a Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Brett Favre. Okay, I get it now. And Peyton Manning. I don't think he has the arm of a Peyton Manning, of a Brett Favre. Intelligent wise, seeing the field wise, I think that's all there. Tom Brady is an idiot for not at least having a quarterback that has completely different skill sets. That's what loser teams do. The Raiders' position is everything in the NFL, period. Taylor Green will shine. Bro, I'm with you 100%. If we could get Taylor Green, if he's there at, anywhere in the fourth where we have three, if he's there in the fourth where we have three fourth round picks and we don't take him, yeah, I think it's a miss, right? Because you don't have to just use him as that. You could use him. You can use him in short yard situation. You can use him as a tush push because he's 6'6" and 230 pounds. You can use Taylor Green in a lot of ways. And, I'm probably going to be disappointed if the Raiders don't get him. But I'm used to being disappointed. I've been a Raider, bam, my whole life. So it is what it is. But Taylor Green is going to shine. somewhere. Somebody's gonna find. Somebody's gonna draft him. They're gonna put him in, you know, in that role that uh, the New Orleans quarterback has, right? What's his name? Tyson Hill or whatever. You know, you can put him in that role where he comes in on third downs to be quarterback, where he comes in goal line situations on short yardage. 100%. Not even. I'm not saying that you don't Taylor Green. I'm saying the Mendoza and Green, like in Seattle, and Jalen Milroe. Yeah, yep, definitely. Western Conference. What's good, my guy? What does Candy say about it? Um, she probably says Aiden O'Connell. Probably. I'll tell you why the Raiders won't have a top 10 defense because of injuries will happen to bad teams. And the Raiders do not have a plan B. Backups ready to go, like we've seen in 25 years. Does can elevate. Oh, don't put that on us, man. Don't put that on us. Sam Becht is a strong defensive lineman. Is that in this draft? The Benny T's, what's good? What's good? Welcome, welcome to the Unleashed Militia family. Appreciate you. Kenley hasn't been in here tonight, Troy. Yeah, I think she's doing a live or something. I don't know what she's doing. She might be on the way to see me. I don't know. I don't know where she's at. Um, cool boy. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes, man. You know how it is. We get on here, we just talk Raiders, but yeah. So that's it. A whole bunch of new signings that I think are really going to help this team. We'll go over more of the guys that they re-signed tomorrow. We'll break down a little bit more. We're going to talk about the Derek Carr situation because I think it's a situation that needs to be talked about. I really do. Um, we have been missing a quarterback like Taylor Green, even Milrose and Sanders leaks. So many of them get ready. Green is going to be on another team. no, I'm. What time tomorrow? Probably about the same time. I don't have a set time yet. Usually after 4. So what time did I go on tonight? 7. I'll try to go on a little earlier. Probably about between 5 and 6. Definitely tomorrow. I know I need to get set times, but again, this is not my full time gig. This is just to come interact with Raider Nation, talk to my people, right? But one of these days, it might get to more of a full time thing and more of a scheduled thing. But until then, car sucks. Come on, man. We don't want to have that conversation today. We don't. We don't. But we will have it tomorrow. So I appreciate everybody pulling up. Thank y'all for the 13 people still in the building. If you're not subscribed to the channel, well, damn, subscribe to the channel. You know you like it. You're still here. And all the people that constantly watch my shit, man, just tap the subscribe button. Help your brother out. Appreciate you. Much love. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good shit. As always, protect yourself, your mind, your family, and your friends, and always your team. Go Raiders. Raiders. Much love. Much love.